Now on Fox 13 News at 9, a deadly police shooting from earlier this year has now been ruled justified. Why Davis County says the use of deadly force was necessary.
He was riding home from school when it happened.
She came out of nowhere.
What this Utah teen says about being hit by a car and the search for the driver who sped away.
For the first time in years, the Weber County Animal Services has had to put dogs down. The reason why, coming up.
A cool front approaching and it'll drop temperatures. By how much? And what are our chances of rain for the rest of the week? We'll let you know in the forecast.
He told us, me here, tree here, grizzly here, 1 second.
And how a man barely got away with his life after being mauled by a grizzly bear.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Chapman.
And I'm Bob Evans. We're tracking developing news in Davis County tonight. The police officers who shot and killed 25-year-old Chase Allen in March of this year have been cleared of any wrongdoing.
Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree joins us live now from the Farmington Police Department to tell us why officers finally allowed the officers to return to work. Jenna.
That's right. Farmington Police Chief Eric Johnson confirmed to Fox 13 News tonight that the Davis County attorney will not file criminal charges against those 5 officers who were involved in the deadly shooting of Chase Allen on March 1st. Now, this shooting was notable because the deadly encounter all started with a traffic stop. Allen was pulled over because he didn't have license plates on his car. In a letter to Chief Johnson at the end of July, County Attorney Troy Rawlings wrote that Allen, quote, attempted to withdraw a loaded firearm on the assembled officers, actually succeeding in getting it out of the holster he was carrying it in, and the evidence is persuasive. There is no reasonable probability of conviction. I spoke with retired Police Chief Chris Bertram. He spoke with us back in March and predicted this outcome based on Utah's laws. He says he's not surprised.
This is a little more unique. I mean, there was a gun pulled. You can, kind of see that there is, as in my opinion, there's an action by him to maybe pull a gun out of a holster, as the officers are giving him commands and trying to get him out of the vehicle. It also is complicated by the fact that this, started over a minor traffic violation.
Since the shooting in March, we learned Allen was likely a sovereign citizen. These are people who believe they have separated themselves from the U.S., and as a result, they don't have to follow the laws. Reporting live in Farmington, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
In southern Utah, a teen is dead, 3 others injured after a rollover crash just before 6 o'clock this morning. It happened on SR 59 between Hurricane and Apple Valley. The Utah Highway Patrol says a vehicle carrying 4 teen boys was merging back into the northbound lane after passing another vehicle, but overcorrected and rolled about 300 feet from the road. UHP says only one of the teens was wearing a seatbelt and stayed in the vehicle. The other 3 were ejected. Troopers say the person who died was 16 years old, but have not released his name. A Utah Tech University head women's basketball coach, J.D. Gustin, is now under investigation. Our content partners at the Salt Lake Tribune report current and former athletes accuse him of bullying, physical intimidation, and retaliation. Players also allege Gustin gave unsolicited back rubs and shoulder massages and made comments about players' bodies and sex lives. The university says it takes all allegations seriously and is working to address them.
A lawsuit over Utah's 2022 ban on transgender girls playing high school sports is progressing as the presiding judge grants unprecedented access to the medical records of minors. Yesterday, Judge Keith Kelly ordered the records, including counseling and mental health reports from around the time the girls started puberty, to be shared with the attorneys representing the Utah High School Activities Association. The files are for attorneys' eyes only. The order also allows for redactions, which the judge will review side by side with unredacted copies in his chambers. The next hearing is scheduled for December 7th. Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall has picked up another big endorsement in her re-election bid. The Salt Lake Education Association, one of the state's biggest teachers union, has endorsed her. The union says it was Mayor Mendenhall's efforts during the COVID-19 pandemic and past support of other labor unions that won their backing. The mayor has picked up endorsements now from other big unions in the city, including the police and firefighters and the AFL-CIO.
Utah Weather Authority Breck Bolton in tonight for Allison Krogan. We were talking about some rain in parts of the state earlier this evening.
Right.
Has it since passed, Breck?
Well, still focused towards central and southern Utah. That's where we've been seeing the activity throughout the afternoon, but fairly rain-free here across northern Utah. Moving through the afternoon, heading into sunset. This was the scene right before sunset there at Great Salt Lake. Scott Taylor with his drone flying around. Beautiful shot there where northern Utah, we've been avoiding the rain, but still some scattered showers even at this hour across southern Utah. Now highs today, once again above average. We got up to 87 degrees in Salt Lake City, low 80s in Provo. Towards west central Utah, we did find temperatures getting up into the low 80s in that area. Upper 70s in Cedar City. Looks like in St. George, you've cooled off just a little bit. We're highs today in the upper 80s as well. Now we stand at the 70s as we go Logan all the way down through Provo. We're in the 50s in Manti, looking at 60s at this hour, heading over towards Vernal. And right now in St. George, you're at 77 degrees. Looking at satellite radar, again, we're seeing the rain showers with a bigger focus, again, southwestern Utah. Looks like some thunderstorms tracking through Washington County. That could keep some active weather going where, yeah, you might get awoken here in the overnight hours where you can see some lightning and maybe hear some thunder as well. Traveling along I-15 where earlier on near Cedar City we had the rain that has moved on. Now as we take a look here across northern Utah, we're clear for now, but we look off towards the west, some movement of some moisture. What does that mean for your forecast for tomorrow? We'll let you know coming up.
Thank you, Breck. After years of operating as a no-kill shelter, an animal shelter in Weber County is now having to put dogs down once again just in order to make room.
They tell Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser they're feeling hopeless and need people to come and save the pets.
Or in Arizona.
It was a lucky gotcha day for this Karat cat at the Weber County Animal Services Shelter.
He's been in there since the first part of July.
But his success story is quite different compared to the 111 dogs inside needing to be adopted.
We don't see any light at the end of the tunnel right now.
This is Luna. She's been here for 114 days. And Penny's been here 2 days longer than Luna. But for Max...
for Max, he's been here 176 days. It's just not fair.
These dogs' days are numbered. Max has until September 26th to find a home, or else 2 years will be all he's lived.
This is the first time we've had to almost operate like a kill shelter again.
Adoption specialist Lisa Weiss says as of last week, the shelter had to start putting dogs down because there's just no room.
I do work with a lot of rescues, but they're just as full as the shelters are.
There was a big boom in pet adoptions caused by the pandemic, but now owners are dropping them off and giving up.
It's for life. Yeah, and I don't know that people truly understand that.
The shelter has lowered the adoption fee from $90 to now only $25, and for some dogs, that fee is waived. The price for puppies has dropped from $150 to only $50.
A lot of love to share.
There's lots of love, there is.
In Weber County, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The state is settling with U.S. Magnesium, a company accused of being a major contributor to Utah's pollution. Details of the settlement reached today.
I think it's natural to always question, is it a different pair of shoes? Is it the field? Is it, if I did this, could I have prevented it?
Plus, questions are lingering tonight about what caused Aaron Rodgers' season-ending injury just minutes into his debut as a New York Jet. Did artificial turf play a role in this? We take that question to the experts.
Utah running back Mekhi Bernard out for the season. How they will fill his role in sports.
A company environmentalists accused of being one of Utah's top polluters struck a deal with the state today.
It concerns years of violations leveled by the Utah Department of Environmental Quality. Fox 13 News political reporter Ben Winslow broke the story earlier today.
U.S. Magnesium reached a settlement with Utah's Department of Environmental Quality to end a history of violations and litigation that stretches back 8 years.
The parties agreed to settle all these alleged violations.
The settlement went before the Utah Air Quality Board on Tuesday. U.S. Magnesium agreed to pay $430,000. But some board members question if the state is getting enough.
Give me a ballpark range of what the maximum win for the state might be on this versus what we're compromising for.
The penalty could be in the millions. Is that a realistic outcome? Maybe, maybe not.
The company, located on the shores of the Great Salt Lake, has been scrutinized by environmental groups. One study claims it's responsible for as much as 25% of northern Utah's air pollution problems. Public records provided to Fox 13 News show the state has logged dozens of violations, ranging from technical reporting issues to more serious environmental problems, including exceeding emissions limits. But the board was warned there's a gamble and a heavy cost in going to court. Still, some members wanted to reject the settlement.
To be a deterrent, I don't think this is even close to a deterrent. If they knew at the outset this would be the settlement amount, they'd make this decision 100 times out of 100 to do the same thing.
The litigation risks are unknown and very high, and I would just go on record as that.
U.S. Magnesium's lawyer acknowledged some past mistakes, but urged them to take the settlement.
$430,000 is no inconsequential amount. And that doesn't include the resources on my client's side, staff resources, just like the DAQ staff, legal fees. The $430,000 is nowhere close to the entire cost. And so I would say the specter of an NOV and violations is a deterrent itself.
While the settlement ends years of litigation, it doesn't block the state from going after the company again in the future. But one environmental group feels this settlement is nothing more than a slap on the wrist.
They could have faced penalties that was in the millions. That's not even compared to the $2 billion our economy loses every year because of this poor air quality. And so to have a couple $100,000 with a payment plan quarterly, they're not facing the extent of what they've put into our airshed.
Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
After just 4 plays into the first quarter of the first Monday Night Football game of this year's NFL season, New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers is now out for the year with an injury. He tore his left Achilles tendon after he got sacked by Buffalo Bills linebacker Leonard Floyd. Rodgers had to be carted off the field, and one of the topics of discussion surrounding the injury is the playing surface of the football field. Now, for context, this happened at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, which uses artificial turf instead of traditional grass. Fox 13 News spoke with Dr. Michael Holmstrom from Tosh, Intermountain Healthcare's orthopedic specialty hospital, about this. He says people like to look for a reason these injuries happen. But simply put, he says the turf is not to blame.
They've actually studied Achilles tendon ruptures in the NFL in over 100 players over a multi-year period, and there actually is no difference between turf or grass in Achilles injuries.
Jets head coach Robert Saleh believes the injury was trauma-induced and not related to the playing surface on the field. With Rodgers out as the Jets quarterback for the season, he'll be replaced by former BYU Cougar Zach Wilson. We'll share what Wilson had to say about the situation later in the newscast during Fox 13 Sports. Kelly?
Thanks, Bob. The National Institutes of Health has selected the University of Utah to receive funding for research to reduce pregnancy-related death. Over a period of 7 years, the Elevate Maternal Health Research Center of Excellence will focus research on developing culturally adapted healthcare practices with Native American community partners all around Utah. University of Utah researchers say the leading cause of maternal death statewide is linked to substance abuse during the first year postpartum, and often in rural and Native American populations.
I think just this is a really exciting opportunity for Utah to really be leaders in reducing and eliminating maternal mortality in our state, as well as providing tools for that to happen nationally.
The programs will focus on addressing stigma around addiction, logistical challenges, cultural differences, and partnerships with Moab Regional Hospital and Central Valley Medical Center. Okay, we're pretty excited about this. It's back tomorrow on Good Day Utah. Fox 13 News feature reporter Rich Bonaducci will kick off the return of our Cool School of the Week series.
Cool.
Those are always so fun. Love to see all the students come out and show their school spirit. Tune in tomorrow starting at 7 a.m. right here on Fox 13 News.
I wonder where Rich is going to be tomorrow morning for Cool School.
Well, it's so fun because it's just the whole student body. The band, the athletics, everyone.
Everybody gets to show off their very best of their school.
And there's a lot to be displayed here from our schools.
That's
locally.
right.
Yeah.
That's right, Brett.
All right, here we go. Thanks, Bob. Let's talk about weather, where for today we've been looking at a few scattered rain showers and thunderstorms across central and southern Utah. Fairly impressive here, at least from this viewpoint, with the photo coming up on our Facebook page. This is Christopher near Hilldale. Ominous dark clouds, thunderstorms rolling through. Now, we didn't have any flash flooding in effect here throughout the day, so no flash flood warnings that are in effect or were in effect here throughout the afternoon. There's a possibility for tomorrow where we keep that moisture in play and in place here across central and southern Utah, and it is moving further northward, as we're going to be talking about chances increasing here across northern Utah, where today highs above average by about 5 degrees. On average in Salt Lake City, we should be in the low 80s. We got up to 87 degrees, but we're looking at a cool down with that approaching cool front. Right now, we've got partly cloudy skies here across northern Utah. We've had a few isolated showers, some mainly over the mountains, but got reports there. East Mill Creek seeing a little thunderhead rolling through with some brief rain. Right now, it shouldn't be much of an issue here in the overnight hours, at least across northern Utah. Temperatures along the Wasatch Front, well, we're in the 70s at this hour. For tomorrow, though, both for northern, central, and southern Utah, we're going to see some scattered showers and some thunderstorms. It's not a washout by any stretch. It's just a better chance here across the north, where we've been avoiding the rain here over the past few days. But thunderstorms will be a possibility with that cool front coming through, which will be dropping temperatures just briefly. Then we see a weekend warm up as high pressure building in. As we take a look, though, as we talk about precipitation looking ahead, we're going to be looking at kind of slightly above average precipitation as we look over the next 6 to 10 days. All right, let's take a look at our satellite radar. We're still holding on to some showers, even some thunderstorms tracking through, moving southward, going through Washington County. Could potentially clip St. George over towards Zion National Park, losing its steam, though, as we move a little bit later on in the evening. Still a few isolated showers, looks like just south of Nephi. Moving along I-15, not much of an impact there. Tooele County, maybe a few isolated showers, again, which will dissipate here in the overnight hours. We're waiting for the arrival of this cool front. This is what's going to bring some instability even across northern Utah and pushing in some moisture. Let's take a look at our computer models, where overnight, again, things calming down, waking up tomorrow morning. Partly cloudy skies here across northern central Utah. You're seeing the sun across the south. As we move into the afternoon, we start to see those isolated thunderstorms starting to develop central towards northeastern Utah, even pockets here across the Wasatch Front in extreme northern Utah. Then it moves eastward tomorrow night. There's the remnants of that front, which will start dragging in some drier air, but some residual moisture heading into Thursday will keep the chances of showers going for central, south central, and eastern Utah. Once we get past Thursday, though, everywhere we're drying out for the weekend, as we'll see temperatures back on the rise. For tonight, though, many spots in the 50s and 60s here across northern Utah. Tomorrow, again, a better chance of maybe seeing some scattered rain showers here across northern Utah, definitely for the mountains. And for St. George, it's a 20% possibility Wednesday and Thursday. Then, as I mentioned, high pressure building in. Nice for the weekend. We'll see highs getting back up into the low 90s. Northern Utah, 80s to 70s, but back into the 80s for the weekend. We dry out. We got the sunshine. We just have one day where we see a chance of rain.
All right, Breck, thank you so much. Coming up, the latest on an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has endorsed it. We'll explain what it's about and what Utahns in Congress have to say. In national news, Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has agreed to a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden.
The focus is the president's son, Hunter Biden, and his past business deals in foreign countries. This, even though House-led GOP investigations have yet to provide any direct evidence Biden financially benefited from foreign business dealings. Republicans hope a formal inquiry will give them more investigative tools to dig for wrongdoing on the part of the president.
This logical next step will give our committees the full power to gather all the facts and answers for the American public. That's exactly what we want to know, the answers. I believe the president would want to answer these questions and allegations as well.
The White House says the GOP probes have turned up no evidence of wrongdoing by the president.
In response, some of Utah's congressional delegation sent statements to Fox 13 News. Senator Mitt Romney says the fact that the White House has been singularly silent and coddled Hunter Biden suggests an inquiry is not inappropriate. Utah Congressman John Curtis says he's pleased that Congress will have the opportunity to examine the allegations. And Utah Congressman Burgess Owens says the impeachment inquiry will focus on gathering all the facts for the American people and that Americans deserve accountability from their president. End quote.
It has been more than 9 months since 21-year-old Isabel Parr was hit and killed while jogging here in Provo.
She just wanted to make people laugh, and she's always had a smile on her face.
How Parr's family and Provo police are continuing to try and find answers.
Right then, a 10-foot grizzly came out at him.
A man with Utah ties defying death in the Montana wilderness. What he says about the grizzly bear attack that has changed his life.
How a new program is doing something never done before to recycle a certain type of plastic.
Aaron Rodgers is out and Zach Wilson is in. You'll hear from the former BYU product in sports.
It has been more than 9 months since 21-year-old Isabel Parr was hit and killed while jogging near 800 North and 800 West in Provo.
And today, Parr's cousin and Provo police told Fox 13 News reporter Chris Arnold why they continue to pursue this case.
She honestly was one of, if not the best person that I've ever known.
This is Lizzie Bettinson.
She's just such a kind spirit, and she was always looking out for people.
Talking about her cousin, Isabel Parr, also known as Izzy. Someone she says always got joy out of making others happy.
The best way to describe her was just like a ball of light. She just wanted to make people laugh.
On December 1st last year, Bettinson says her cousin went out for a jog on a route she would normally take near the Provo River Trail. Provo police say as Parr went to cross the road at 820 North and 800 West, she was hit and killed by a dark-colored pickup truck around 5:30 that evening.
It didn't feel real.
Police say the driver did not remain on scene.
The hardest part is definitely not knowing really anything. The police are doing their best. Going off of the information they have, which isn't a lot, it's not easy to get information.
A few months after Parr's death, the Provo Police Department says that a private citizen put forward $20,000 for information leading to the identification of a suspect in this incident. The police department has shared information about that reward, urging people in several social media posts over the last 6 months, including on Monday, to come forward if they have any information.
It's been heartbreaking and difficult. The major difficulty, of course, has been borne by the family and the community that Isabel's life has impacted.
Captain Brian Taylor is with the Provo Police Department.
The detective division has spent a lot of time and resource on this. We've canvassed the neighborhood. We've scoured for every bit of available video data.
Captain Taylor says that includes pursuing warrants and examining people's devices to see who was driving through the area at the time Parr was hit and killed.
None of that's been particularly fruitful. The one thing we have is an image, a grainy image of this large pickup truck, and it does show Isabel being struck and killed.
As a yellow ribbon marks the area where Parr was killed last year, police are hopeful their efforts will ultimately bring some answers.
We want to give this family the assurance that we are working and that we are serious about following up.
This is us at a Utah football game.
And for Bettinson, some closure to a tragedy that took her cousin's life far too soon.
It's been tough, especially how close we were. I miss her laugh.
In Provo, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
A Salt Lake City mother of 7 has been missing for more than 2 months now. The National Missing and Unidentified Persons System says Eileen Donna Brown was last seen in the Salt Lake Avenue hostel on June 21st. The last person to speak with her told her children she had lost her phone and was going to a park to sleep. No family or close friends have heard from her since. Eileen's son, Spencer Thane, says the past couple of months have been rough for his mother, but she's never been one to go more than 3 or 4 days without talking to family.
She's just a mom, she's a mom of 7 kids, and she was a great mom. She's very loving, she's family centered, she's a homebody and an introvert. Like, this is just so out of character. But I don't know. I don't know. At this point, it's hard to even, I guess it's that determination. You just want to find her.
Salt Lake police say the case remains active, but would not give further details.
A man is hospitalized in Salt Lake City tonight after being mauled by a grizzly bear in southwestern Montana last Friday. Fox 13 News reporter Darian DeBrule has details of the attack and the man's condition.
The whole bottom part of his mouth is gone. Teeth, jaw.
Carrie Norlander Lyman describes her brother Rudy as an outdoorsman who's always willing to help.
He's just got that kind of attitude. He just says it's a good day if he can make somebody smile.
Last Friday, Rudy was helping a father and son track a deer on the Yellow Mule Trail near Big Sky, Montana, when he was attacked by a grizzly bear.
He saw a smaller bear and he pulled out his gun slowly because he didn't know what the bear was going to do. But the bear got scared away, and then right then a 10-foot grizzly came out at him.
Lyman says Rudy told his family the attack happened within seconds.
The bear broke part of his throat, so they're putting a plate down in there to stabilize it. Then around the 25th, they're going to do the major reconstruction surgery where they take the bone out of his leg and reconstruct the chin and everything.
Rudy was prepared with bear spray and his gun, but the grizzly was too fast.
If you're going to carry some sort of bear deterrent with you, like bear spray, make sure it's accessible because bears can be very quick and you might not have a lot of warning before they attack.
Matt Boxmeyer, SAR commander with the Gallatin County Search and Rescue, says as of Tuesday, crews were still trying to locate the bear. Once they do, the Montana Department of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks will investigate.
They really handle what happens to the bear based on the specifics of the attack, whether or not it was a predatory attack or a defensive type attack. Was it protecting a cub or protecting a food cache?
Despite the gruesome attack, Rudy is still making people smile, even without his voice.
One of the nurses, when he first came in, they said, "We understand you're kissing bears." And he wrote on there, "Bear French kissed me." And she started laughing. She goes, "Oh, bad breath?" And he goes, "Yes."
In Salt Lake City, Darian DeBrule, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Wow, Lyman has started a GoFundMe page for her brother to help pay medical expenses. As you can imagine, there's going to be a lot. We do have a link to that on our website. You can find it at fox13now.com.
Boy, what a story. Well, coming up, a 13-year-old boy who was hit by a car while riding his bike. He tells his harrowing story to Fox 13 News.
And a city in Utah is partnering with Waste Management to recycle a certain kind of plastic that previously had to be thrown away. We'll show you the new program.
And the moisture migrating as we're starting to see some showers tracking closer towards northern Utah. What does that do with chances of rain looking ahead? And what does it do for the weekend forecast? We'll let you know after the break.
A 13-year-old boy is recovering after being hit while riding his bike home from school in Sunset.
He tells Fox 13 News reporter Lucy Nelson his story as his mother shares a message with those on the road.
At around 3:30 in the afternoon, dozens of students are seen heading home from Sunset Junior High and elementary schools on 1800 North. That includes 13-year-old Matthew Facer, who bikes home.
Because I don't want to hit people on the sidewalk, I roll down the bike lane.
Riding down 1800 North Tuesday afternoon near 300 West, all he knew is suddenly he was flying off his bike.
And she came out of nowhere.
Here is dash camera footage of that moment sent to us by the Sunset Police Department from a witness car. In this moment, on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see Matthew get hit.
So my heart just sank because I knew something had happened.
Matthew called his mom, who explains the driver left the scene.
Driver was coming out onto 1800 North, hit him, backed up, parked, and then as soon as the eyewitness said, hey, you guys all need to stay, I on the phone with the cops are coming. She got back into her car and left.
According to the PC statement, the driver was a 25-year-old woman arrested for failing to remain at the scene of the accident, not having a valid license, and no proof of insurance. Matthew was transported to McCady Hospital and is now recovering at home with a bruised knee and a relieved mother.
Please watch out for kids.
With an important message to drivers.
You can replace material objects. You cannot replace a life. You cannot.
In Sunset, Lucy Nelson, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Coming up, a Utah legislator has a date to play at Carnegie Hall in New York City with world-renowned musicians like this man from the Beehive State.
And Salt Lake County seniors got to pit their skills against each other in a decathlon. Test out those skills, put them to good use. We're going to show you the competition.
And I'm Andrea Urban, and with the injury update in the running back room with the Utah football team, Mekhi Bernard's out. How can they move forward? Plus, an injury that shocked all football fans last night. Aaron Rodgers is out, and the former BYU Cougar Zach Wilson is in. You'll hear from him in sports.
In Utah County, one city is partnering with Waste Management to recycle a certain kind of plastic in a brand new pilot program.
Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi shows us the facility where the new technology is being used.
There's a new way for people who live in Orem to get rid of certain kinds of plastic in a first-of-its-kind venture by recycling them.
Any plastic film, so the grocery bags, the trash bags, the things that, packaging, the plastic envelopes that you get from Amazon, anything that's of that plastic film can just go loose into the bin.
Waste Management and the City of Orem are working on a 90-day pilot recycling program where these plastics can be recycled with other things like paper, cardboard, and cans. I visited the facility in Salt Lake City where a new addition to the recycling process can separate these plastics from the rest.
It's a robotic type machine that identifies the plastic, the different types of plastic, again, primarily like your garbage bags and those types of things, and then it extracts them from the stream, the conveyor belt.
We're about a month into the pilot and the city says it has been well received so far.
The public has really embraced it. They have their fingers crossed because it is a pilot program. They hope that it carries on.
The pilot program with the City of Orem runs until November. The goal is to see how more people in cities can use this technology to help their recycling practices. In Salt Lake City, I am Maithili Gubi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Listen to this. A world-renowned concert violinist from the University of Utah will be playing at the Big Apple with piano accompaniment provided by State Representative Melissa Garf Ballard. David Park will be accompanied by Representative Ballard, Music Director Alex Marshall, and BYU alum vocalist Michelle Dean to play at Carnegie Hall in New York City.
I'm really proud to be able to represent Utah, represent the importance of arts and music in our community, and be able to perform for the world in Carnegie Hall.
The concert at Carnegie Hall will be on October 13th, but you can see their performance before that in Salt Lake City at the Libby Gardner Hall on October 2nd.
Seniors from around the Salt Lake Valley competed in the annual Senior Wellness Decathlon today. Participants ages 60 and up took took part in 10 different events with medals going to the top 3. The events included Wii bowling, horseshoes, cornhole, and a mystery competition.
That's all. I don't know, most of them come out just to have fun and that, but that's all I come out here for, is just to be with the people, learn, get to meet more people, and just have a lot of fun.
This is National Senior Center Month. So its purpose is to encourage residents to socialize, be more active, and improve their mental health. Breck?
Challenge a senior to cornhole or horseshoes. They got that tossed down.
Oh, you got that right, Buster.
Right and accurate.
And shuffleboard.
And shuffleboard.
You're going to lose every time.
I'm staying away from that. All right, let's talk about what we're shuffling up here in the weather department, where we're mixing things up just a bit, getting ready as we head into the middle of the week. Wednesday, looks like we're going to see a decent chance of some scattered showers here across the state. Right now, though, mainly partly cloudy skies here along the Wasatch Front. Current temperature 76 degrees as we look for tomorrow from the Storm Prediction Center. Chances of thunderstorm activity, well, it's all across northern, central, northeastern, southern Utah as well. It's a little bit more isolated in nature, but we're starting to see a better chance here even across northern Utah as we do see a cool front that's going to be tracking through come late Wednesday into Thursday. Now, for the areas that we always keep an eye on for flash flooding tomorrow, it's in the yellow, a possibility all throughout central into southern Utah. Not in the orange category that was originally forecasted for today. Things are actually decreasing as far as the risk concern is, but we will see those chances of rain showers as we're holding on to kind of a final push of some showers across southern Utah, potentially impacting Washington County, but they are dying off just a little bit as far as the intensity is concerned. But showers still in effect even as we move through central Utah, Wasatch back. Northern Utah, we should be staying dry, except maybe near the Utah-Idaho border, we might see a few showers. There's our next cool front. That's going to bring, again, more chances of rain here across northern Utah heading into tomorrow, but then quickly drying out as we look towards Thursday. So it's getting ready for tomorrow. We're going to be waking up to partly cloudy conditions. We don't see the rain during the morning hours, at least that 30% possibility for Salt Lake and Tooele counties, and even a 40% chance for Utah County. We'll mainly be focusing in on the afternoon of seeing that chance there. Now, looking across the state tomorrow, again, you're taking a look at future radar where it's just in pockets, those isolated showers, but even incorporating some of northern Utah. As highs tomorrow, a little bit cooler, close to average here, as we'll be looking at low to mid 80s here throughout the Wasatch Front. Many spots looks like they'll be getting up into the, there we go, getting up into the 70s and low 80s through central Utah. St. George, you're hanging on to the 80s at least for a couple more days, as we'll see about a 20% chance of an isolated shower tomorrow through Thursday. Again, lining things up nicely for the weekend as high pressure builds in. We see the sunshine as temperatures return back into the 90s, maybe potentially a little bit cooler as we look towards Tuesday and Wednesday with another cool front that sweeps in throughout the state. 80s to 70s. Back into the 80s for the weekend. So again, making those weekend preparations and plans. Mother Nature will be cooperating. We'll build in that high pressure. Kind of as we get feeling a little bit more fall-like for a couple of days, we're feeling more summer heat heading into the weekend with maybe a little bit of cool down by the middle of next week.
It was the biggest story of the NFL offseason. Aaron Rodgers traded to the New York Jets, where he would replace the former BYU Cougar, Zach Wilson. Now, Rodgers' debut was on Monday night, and it was an example of just how cruel sports can be. Rodgers took the field for approximately 75 seconds. That's 4 plays before he was sacked and would leave the game with what looked like an ankle injury. After an MRI this morning, Aaron Rodgers suffered a complete tear of his left Achilles tendon, and he will miss the remainder of the season. BYU product Zach Wilson took over on Monday night, and here's his reaction to the situation.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, first, I've so much love for him, so my heart goes out to him. I have no idea what's happened. He'll find a way to keep working to get back, but that's tough. It hurts us as a team. But my job as a quarterback is I got to step up, and I got to be able to be efficient as I can in that offense, and trying to learn as much as I can from this guy. But I also got to make sure I'm ready to go. And it's a lot of emotions. You got to be able to try and stay calm and go out there and try and perform the best you can. Going into this week, it's applying everything that he's kind of helped walk us through, and being able to watch him and the coaches. How they've handled this offense, I got to be able to handle that efficiently.
Speedy recovery to Aaron Rodgers. Now the Utes had to battle back against Baylor this past weekend in Waco. Running back Jalen Glover scored the winning touchdown during a drive that started with little over a minute on the clock. Now it was a tie game with less than 30 seconds to play, and you see Glover here get the handoff, spin his way to pay dirt, but instead of crossing over the line, he stays just outside of it to run out the clock a little bit more. And his coaches say it's the smartest, most dumb decision he's ever made.
My reaction is I'm gonna kill this kid. You know, just situation. We do have a situation like that, but that wasn't the time for that situation. I mean, it was smart, but it was dumb at the same time.
He told me the meeting day is probably one of the smartest, dumbest decisions I made. Yeah, for the situation, for me personally, I felt like, you know, it was the right thing to do. I took a glance at the clock. It was 19 seconds, so if they was gonna let me score, I was gonna run out as much as I can till, you know, I walked into the end zone.
And after the Baylor game, head coach Kyle Whittingham shared with the media that junior running back Mekhi Bernard has suffered a season-ending injury off the field. He was a leader in the running back room, but they're confident that they can fill his shoes.
Mekhi did a lot of good things for us. I don't know if people really realize how important that piece was that we're missing, but these guys will step up.
That's a guy, you know, you lose a leader and you lose just like he was my big brother coming in. So, you know, losing him for the season, definitely you're going to feel it. But Coach Q, him as well, being my big brother, just prepared me for these moments. You always ask for your number to get called, so when it is, you just got to be ready.
That'll do it for sports. We'll be right back.
Speaking of used cars, if you want a license plate to support the Great Salt Lake, here is your chance. This license plate could be yours, but only if 500 people sign up to get one. So far, about 242 people have signed up, $46 for each one. Proceeds from the license plate go to conservation efforts at the lake.
Good cause.
Yeah, go to fox13now.com if you want to know more.
Stick around for QuickCast. It's up next.